I hate to do this to my boy, but you gotta get this work for Black History Month. Oda was definitely cooking when he created Zoro. He's one of those characters in One Piece that can get people hyped just from his presence alone. At least that's how it is for me. But I feel like during Oda's cook session, he added a little chemical X to the recipe instead of seasoning. And by chemical X, I mean just a tad bit of unintentional racism. What started off as a joke has become a very popular trend for the character. Throughout One Piece, Zoro's opponents have been nothing but black people, or at least have some sort of ethnicity and shade to them. From the East Blue Saga to Egghead, my boy is a straight up menace to people of color. If One Piece took place during the slavery era, he would be the richest bounty hunter to ever exist. Which is probably why they had him no longer be a bounty hunter anymore, because of the allegations would have been even clearer than they already are. Zoro being a minority hunter needs to be studied in every anime history class because it's not looking too great for the GOAT. Zoro's first victim was Miss Monday in the Alabasta arc, where this man distributed equality and supremacy. I mean, if you want to be technical, Hachi is his first minority victim because the fishmen are the closest to black people in One Piece. They were slaves for the government, segregated, oppressed from people they were trying to be in peace with, branded by their masters, etc., etc. You can go on for hours about that topic. But let's get back to Miss Monday. Now, in Zoro's defense, she did try knocking his head off with a damn ladder, and was talking grizzly, saying that she's the strongest and nobody can see me with the hands. But Zoro's minority senses started tingling, and this man disrespected her so bad. He grabbed her by the head like Broly did Goku and was like, "I thought you was built different. Where's that strength you were boasting about?" And basically choked her out. Like, looking back at this moment, it was flat out disrespectful. Zoro really was looking like a barber trying to fix somebody's lineup. Miss Monday looked at him and said, "Let me get the number one," and Zoro said, "I bet." This man even licked her blood afterwards, like he was trying to get some black genes inside of him. Like, not even Mihawk had him acting this wild, and he's trying to beat him for the title of World's Strongest Swordsman. Then he battled Daz Bones, aka Mr. One. He saw Daz Bone getting ready to put hands on that white girl and said, "Not on my watch." Zoro tells Daz Bones that the only reason he refused to join Baroque Works is because he wanted to be the boss. But you see, my brother, if you had awakened your third eye, or in this case, awaken your observation haki, you would see the truth. The only reason is because he couldn't work beside a black man and would rather be the boss of them like the good old days. You don't believe me? Ask yourself this. Why do you think every member of the Straw Hat skin complexion got lighter post time skip when they were originally darker pre time skip? And no, don't say that defense of, I mean, they out in the sun. It's Alabasta. It was hot as hell out there. What'd you expect? Don't fall for the agenda. This was Zoro's toughest test because he vowed to Luffy that he would never lose another fight to a swordsman again. So add Zoro's vow with his minority hunter senses, and it's a recipe for disaster. Daz Bones had Zoro looking bad, was beating him like Django did the Brittle Brothers. I mean, he's literally the Man of Steel. But you know, racist comic book fans always say, the Man of Steel can't be black. Well, he ain't white either, so I don't know why you acting like it's a Klan rally for. Anywho, Zoro gets a flashback and starts powering up like Hulk Hogan. Niggas started thinking about interracial couples and being defeated by a black man and said enough is enough. Do-rag on? Check. Theme song playing in the background? Check. Hearing the rhythm of the African tribes? Check. Minority senses activated? Hell yeah. Zoro was ready to add another body to his list, or in this case, another brother to his list. Zoro didn't even use 3-sword style to end the fight. He uses 1-sword style. After getting his cheeks clapped, Mr. One asks him if he's gonna cut Diamond next, and Zoro tells him, "Nah, I'ma just stick with black characters for now." Later on in Water 7, Zoro actually saves Robin from Aokiji. When that moment happened, I was thinking, okay, Zoro finally beating them allegations. The minority hunter saving a minority from another minority? That's crazy. Then he followed it up by almost striking down one of the king oppressors themselves, a celestial dragon. Now that's some top tier character development, going from a low-key racist to a high-key ally of the people. But Oda saw that and said, nigga, you thought, and cranked it up times 10. This man started fighting monkeys. I ain't even talking about the kind that Frieza talks about. I'm talking about Planet of the Apes type of monkeys. And they was giving Zoro the business until he asked Mihawk for help. Another minority at that. This man was getting beaten by minorities so bad that he had to go ask another minority for help on how to beat him. Which was a bad idea because I don't know what kind of training he put Zoro through, but my boy went on a Hall of Fame run in post-time skip, attacking minority after minority. You could literally make a LeBron highlight of his minority streak. Remember how I said the fishmen are technically the closest thing to black people in One Piece? Well, Zoro must have heard me say that because that's exactly who he went after in the first arc of the time skip. The main villain of Fishman Island arc, which was Hordy Jones, aka Ho Jones. Wait, nah. Hold up. You mean to tell me that this man Zoro's first technical opponent pre-time skip was a fishman, and his first opponent in post-time skip was a fishman? You can't convince me Oda didn't know what he was cooking up, bruh. So Zoro looks at Hody acting up in Fishman Island and was like, now you see why I only go after minorities? And straight up challenges Hody to a fight, or he was forced to fight him. Now, Hordy was a trash villain anyway. I mean, bro was like a tutorial boss before the real action began. That's why Zoro had no problem going after the HNIC. Zoro fights him in the water, and you think this would be an easy dub for him because this is a literal fish going up against a human in its natural habitat. That's like LeBron playing one-on-one against somebody that just got finished working a 9 to 5, like it should be light work. But like I said before, Zoro is a minority hunter, and once the minority senses start tingling, it's pretty much a wrap for you. Hordy's goons start talking shit, and that pisses Zoro off. Like, it's bad enough that one minority is talking crap, but having an audience of them doing the same thing is too much for the GOAT. So Zoro cuts this man down with the quickness. He had to remind them that y'all must not know who I am. Later on, he watches Luffy drop 50,000 fishmen with his Conqueror's Haki. Now this is a mind-blowing feat. Now while everyone's gassing it up, Zoro's like, shit nigga, you better be able to do something like that. I'm the minority hunter, so you gotta be able to drop more minorities than me. After celebrating his minority hunting in Fishman Island, we fast forward to Dressrosa where he fights Pika. And no, I'm not talking about Pikachu. I'm talking about the high-pitched speaking 15-foot giant. Now this is Zoro's biggest minority, so wearing a do-rag wasn't gonna be enough this time. He was gonna have to go into his bag with this one. And by that, I mean Haki. He knew that he was going to need help from other minorities in order to defeat this giant, and also turn his blade into a black blade. Just hearing those two things made Zoro's skin crawl, but he knew what needed to be done. But side note real quick, you noticed that how I said earlier that he had to ask another minority and Mihawk to beat the other minorities, and now he's doing it again? That's low-key kind of a repeating trend in post-time skip. And I just wanted to point that out. Bro upgraded from 1080p to a billion fold and sliced this man in not just half, but chopped him in fourths, fifths, sixths, sevenths, eights, nines, and tenths. He made sure to get that dude, but it wasn't over yet. Pika activated his armament haki and put it all over his body. Now, if you don't know what armament haki is, it's basically coating your body in haki. And since haki is black, that means that Pika went full on blackface, despite being a minority. Once Zoro saw how black Pika was, it sent him into a flashback, thinking about how the legendary minority swordsman Mihawk embarrassed him in front of everyone. Then Zoro proceeds to power up his minority senses and defeated Pika with a 3,000 world cut. After this, Pika's giant body starts crashing down and Usopp is about to be crushed. As Usopp is calling for help, Zoro's looking down on him like, nigga, I did my job. I only saved one minority for every arc. You can't expect me to do it more than once. But don't worry, another minority saves everyone by Detroit smashing Pika's stone body and saves everyone. Now it's time we go on to Wano. where this was Zoro's main arc, where the minority jokes reached its peak. Zoro was gonna put this arc on his back and show everybody that he wasn't a racist and a minority hunter. And that is the complete opposite of what happened. This man Zoro was walking everybody down. Samurais, ninjas, pirates of color, nobody was safe. Zoro was terrorizing everybody, getting drunk, stealing people's women and swords like there was no stopping him. But I noticed something in Wano, in the very first episode of Wano. The freaking title card is Pan-African colors.
Boy, ain't no way, boy.
Nah, bro, why didn't I notice this on my first watch of this arc, man? Toei knew exactly what they were doing with that, bro. First victim in Wano was the guy accusing Zoro of murder and theft, but he was like, I am not about to get framed by a minority, and cuts him down with a seppuku knife. After that, he bodied a whole bunch of samurai before making his exit. You would think after bodying a bunch of minorities that he would lay low. Nope, this man starts bodying more people with Luffy. After that, he faces off against Killer. Now, it wasn't revealed to be Killer until later on, but for the sake of this moment, I'm gonna call him that. Now, this fight was Zoro being a menace. This man gets penetrated right in his shoulder and starts smiling. Blood dripping everywhere, and this man got the nerve to start smiling. This man gets a fucking rush just from fighting minorities. I'm not trying to hear that excuse of Zoro saying he needed a third sword in order to finish the job. This nigga hasn't been damaged like that in a long time. And the fact that it was a minority that got him leaking like that caused him to get a racist boner and deliver one of the coldest scenes known to man. Then, later on, this man bullies a group of ninjas that thought they were in the Naruto verse. Ninjas was looking for Naruto so they could learn the Rasengan, but ended up getting lightning strikes from the minority hunter. Fast forward to Roof Piece, aka the greatest part of Wano, and this man Zoro was ready to go all out on Kaido. But before that, I wanted to drop a gem for you guys. Big Mom tries to attack Luffy with Prometheus, but Zoro stops her with the Firefox style Flame Rend attack. Luffy notices right off the bat that he uses Kinemon's attack, and Zoro flat out says that he stole it.
You can't make this shit up.
Not only is this man a minority hunter, but he's a colonizer as well. I mean, he stole the do-rag from black people, he stole Hachi's sword style, he stole Miss Monday's blood, he stole Mihawk's move where he can use a tiny blade, and now he stole Kinemon's attack. Now, doesn't that sound familiar in today's society?
No, you're not a colleague, you're a fucking colonizer.
So Zoro finally gets a shot to put his minority hunting skills to the test by pulling up on Kaido. This is the moment every Zoro fan was waiting for. We were all delusional into believing that Zoro was going to be the one to walk Kaido down, but Oda had other plans and decided to let Toei flex one time. Zoro puts on the do-rag and said it's minority hunting time, and had Kaido shook. Kaido was getting ready to drop his new mixtape, but Zoro wasn't trying to hear that BS and cut the flames in half. Kaido looks up in the sky and sees the reincarnation of Odin. Even Big Mom was telling Kaido to get the hell out of the way because she knew Kaido was about to get put on a t-shirt. Lucky for him, the minority guys were on his side because Zoro missed by an inch, only cutting a piece of Kaido's whisker.
Shit, that nigga had me scared, but I held my own. Fuck that.
But it's not over yet, because Zoro spun the block on Kaido and summoned his own dragon to fight Kaido. Not only that, but he cut that bozo, making him bleed. We can stop right there and call it a day, but Zoro said the job's not done, because I still got more highlights to show. Kaido displays his dominance throughout the whole battle, even transforms into a hybrid. Now, a hybrid in this particular moment is a half man, half dragon. But to Zoro, that's a biracial minority, and unless he's purebred, he can't respect that. Zoro pulls out one more trick for Kaido. He goes all out for his minority hunting ancestors and uses a 9-sword style attack that cuts Kaido once again. But Kaido lays a smackdown on Zoro and tells him that this is one minority that you're not gonna beat. After hearing that, this pisses Zoro off so much that he had to sit on the sidelines and recover from that burn. Now this next moment is peak minority hunting. Not just because it's Zoro, but because of how beautifully animated it was. Zoro fights King next. Zoro spent like 10 episodes trying to put a dent in this man, and nothing happened. But he finally did it after remembering his promise to Luffy. King finally reveals himself, and this man looks majestic. King is Zoro's worst nightmare. Tall, unbeatable, has healing abilities, can transform into a dinosaur, and most importantly, he's black. But not just any type of black. He's a light-skinned nigga. Like, look at this man. Blonde hair, brown skin, black wings, and to top it off, this man is a part of an endangered species. Or a race, I should say. Which takes the meaning of minority hunter to new heights. This made Zoro turn into a damn Jedi master, because bro pulled out 3 lightsabers out of nowhere and turned into Shenron just to defeat King. After defeating King, he decides to become the King of Hell, which is dangerous because Zoro, the minority hunter King of Hell, has a scary ring to it. Every minority Zoro went up against was stronger than the previous one, and he always left his mark. But Vegapunk and the world government got tired of this and decided to create a new weapon called Seraphims. But this particular Seraphim has all of Zoro's ops abilities. Mihawk's swordsmanship, Daz Bones' devil fruit, and King's regeneration. Not to mention, they made him black as well. But not just this particular Seraphim, but every single one of them. It's almost like the world government wanted a bunch of black people being their slaves. Nah, let me stop before I end up getting clapped by M. Sama. How many more victims will the minority hunter add to his list before One Piece finally ends? I think there might be more, but hey, you never know. I almost forgot. I forgot about that bozo Apu. I can't believe I forgot about him. Another moment in Wano was when Zoro went head up with that trash ass SoundCloud rapper Apu. This man was holding up all the keys to the recipe and was trying to sell his mixtape to Zoro. But Zoro was not trying to hear none of that BS and cut this man down with the quickness. He ain't even cut him down like any of the other minorities. This man had to hit him with the meme too. This man hit him with the put the sword back into the sheath type of meme. That's how he walked him down. Now, before I go, I want to leave y'all with one more thing. If you ever interact with a One Piece fan, ask them who their favorite character is. If they say Zoro, I want you to follow it up with this question. Pre-time skip or post-time skip? If they ask you what's the difference, tell them that there is no difference. Both versions are racist, and just see how they react to it. But if they answer pre-time skip Zoro, just be like, oh, so you like peak racist Zoro and not current racist Zoro.
Nah, that ain't it, y'all.
Let me know in the comments if you think Zoro is an unintentional racist, or am I just capping? But like always, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, even share the video if you enjoyed it. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.